Bob, so we're very interested in what's going on globally. Your footprint is quite global, of course, and you've done this study. So I think we're very interested in what's happening in sort of the programmatic rollout in Europe versus the US, and what are some of the things that you guys have seen in your recent study?
Yeah, so well, first let me just start. I think when you look year over year, what we've actually seen is we've seen programmatic spend go from 4% overall with our advertisers to over 40%. So the programmatic buying just in general that advertisers and agencies have embraced overall in the last year has just been phenomenal. And you start to decouple that and you start to say, okay, a majority of that right now is around display, mobile, but the rise in video programmatic, especially in Europe, we're starting to see it accelerate exponentially also. So the tools, there's a big interest right now for video publishers, primarily video publishers, to create private marketplaces and access those private marketplaces from an automated standpoint on behalf of those agencies or brand advertisers. So I think we went from a year ago defining what we meant by programmatic and educating the world around what programmatic means, how we help them with automation, how we help them with data and efficiency, to people saying, okay, I want to buy into that, how do I do it? Fast forward to a year later where people are actually really starting to use the tools and leaning in hard to access inventory and audiences like they've never done before.
So do you think there are differences with Europe and the US, or what are some of the reasons for those differences, if there are?
Yeah, so the great thing about the US and Europe is the tools pretty much are interchangeable. So from a platform standpoint, we can roll out our Adapt TV platform, for example, all across Europe. The challenge is, or the startup, is really creating those private marketplaces. And when you start to work with global agencies, for example, like Havas, who we just actually created a partnership around for One by AOL, they actually help us to establish those marketplaces. Once the marketplaces are established, then the programmatic video buying or the programmatic display buying is easy to do on behalf of brand advertisers or on behalf of that agency.
So tell us a little bit about TV planning and how that fits in. Linear, everyone sort of talks about it, and in Europe TV is a little bit different. There's a lot of OTT. How is TV planning changing through programmatic, if it is, or how will it?
Yeah, so one of the things I think as we go forward, and there's a lot of skepticism about bringing linear TV into the programmatic fold. The reality is, in the US specifically, there's a really scattered and fragmented local marketplace that's there. And whenever there's fragmentation, creating a marketplace and creating automation around that fragmented marketplace, therein lies opportunity. So through Adapt TV and our linear pilots that we have going on, we're actually looking at sort of that marketplace, that fragmented market, and doing tests to figure out how we can actually do insertion within linear TV. And I think over time, the marketplace will sort of will develop more and more, and we'll start to go higher and higher up into the funnel. As these marketplaces, people feel confident about the marketplaces, how they can perform, and how they can basically protect their business. Because I think initially, you know, when we started talking about programmatic, people thought it was a real-time bidding. You know, real-time bidding is only one aspect of a whole programmatic stack. When you start to think about linear TV, what we're helping publishers do in linear TV is assemble their inventory and allow advertisers to access this in an automated fashion, capture data, and then actually optimize on that data. We, as you know, we bought a company called Convertro. Convertro is a multi-touch attribution company. It's supported by Nielsen heavily. And part of that is actually bringing across sort of in the attribution analysis from display digital through mobile digital into video digital all the way through to linear TV, so that you can actually look at the attributes and understand what the interaction is between all those modules algorithmically, and then come up to a conclusion: do I need to change my media mix model strategy? Instead of coming from the top down, guessing what it is, executing it, and then reviewing it, it's in allowing us to actually optimize those buys while the buys are happening.